It's a very heinous act, and it is absolutely unacceptable for something like this to happen. But as you pointed out, it was probably left for a wild boar by a farmer whose crops were probably being destroyed by that animal, or for bush meat, we don't know now. This is a practice which is very prevalent, and I'm glad that due to this incident and thanks to this mother elephant, that the whole country, whether through political lines, religious lines, through everything, people are now looking at this incident and recognizing it for its brutality and inhumaneness. So this is good to bring it to light, but these kind of man and animal conflicts are on the rise because we are going deeper and deeper into their habitats, and nature has a lot of viruses, and so do we, I guess. So we are getting closer because of the habitat loss. These animals are coming more in touch with the human thing, humans. So man-animal conflict is on the rise, and this does not happen only in that area. This happens across the country. People take it upon themselves to act against these wild animals for due to many reasons. Some are criminal, kuch majburi hoti hai. But the point is that we have to have special bodies, like NTCA should have a special cell for a man-animal conflict, specifically for that, and educating people, sensitizing people, instilling a sense of pride in them as to where they live. It has to be a holistic solution. A knee-jerk reaction even to this is not going to help eradicate the problem. Yes, it might be less heard about, but it's happening everywhere.
You're right, Randeep, and especially in this particular situation with this elephant, you're absolutely right when you say it requires a holistic solution, because, when we've dug into the details, like you rightly pointed out, there are livelihoods at play, because, these pineapples are left for the wild boar by farmers who think that the wild boars are harming their crops. There are various bureaucratic issues at play here. And like you said, this is about encroachment and the collision of human habitations with the natural environment. And that's why something like this has happened. And this elephant has just become the face of this latest collision.
Yes, that's right. And whenever man-animal conflict happens, it happens more in the cases of carnivores. The local MLAs and local politicians take it upon themselves to get rid of these animals. Some are true, some are not so true. But a knee-jerk reaction to any of these should not be done, and it should be done centrally. The Ministry of Environment should look at it to have a special man, and there is enough evidence now that it's on the rise.
Yes.
So there have to be special, like even in the case of tigers, as if there is a man-animal conflict, the tiger is just put in the jail, which is just 10 by 10 cell. Now it's not the tiger's fault. So we should have enclosures for these animals which have got stuck in this man-animal conflict, and for elephants, we have to open out their corridors so that they can travel on their ancient paths as they used to. We have to stop cutting those paths with roads and railway lines and coal mines. So all these factors, we have to see, it's all a conflict of interest. We have to all realize that our only interest is towards nature. It should be towards, because as we can see, nature thrives without us, but we need nature. So this is an example. This should be taken as an example and a starting point of a rather larger conversation about this man-animal conflict and our encroachment into biodiverse areas and into forest land, which seems to be the easiest land for the government to give away. But they also have pressures.
Yes.
So we cannot vilify anybody. We have to look at it holistically from all angles.
Yes.
And then we will find a solution, and that is a solution that's going to last.
Do you think, Randeep, that things will actually change? Yes, it's a more enlightened age. A lot of people have tuned into this story and become aware of the reality on the ground because of how heartbreaking this image and how compelling this image of this dying elephant is. But do you think that public memory is short and people will move on? Or do you think this story is painful enough to actually result in real change?
Well, I hope it is. I think because of the lockdown, I think more and more people have become aware of the healing powers of us not being there with our vehicles and other such things, destroying the environment.
Yes.
There is a much more knowledge towards it. A lot more, many people know that because of, eating bushmeat, viruses like these COVID and all these things come about in our systems. Nature has protective buffers around itself to protect the human beings from its own viruses.
Absolutely.
So we are destroying that. But I really feel that collectively we can come. It has to be from all parties who are building the infrastructure, or
Yes.
the miners, and from the government, from the people inhabiting these places, from people who can do something about it. There needs to be a lot more ground level work, and also the courts have to get involved in what is good for our future as humans.
Absolutely.
About preserving our environment.
Randeep Hooda, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. And I hope some of the things that you've said actually ring true. This is not about one party or the other. This is about India. This is about the lives of our animals. This is about the environment. And